Hi everyone, good evening. Am I audible to you all? Can I have your reactions if I'm audible? Okay, great. Thank you so much for confirming. All right, a very warm good evening on behalf of whole LeDroit India team. My name is Riya Chhabra. I'm a corporate lawyer with 5 plus years of experience. I've worked with multiple companies like Infosys, Bright Knight, ISG, and iCertis, where I had the chance to work on contract management tools as well as deal with international clients, draft various types of contracts. And with that experience, I'll be guiding you in today's session on how to draft a contract. What are the common mistakes that people usually do when they start drafting a contract? Okay, now before I proceed ahead, I would love to know about you. So do let me know what you guys are doing currently. That will give me an idea about what how do I have to explain things, whether you are a working professional, whether you are still in law college. Do let me know in the chat box. Okay, so yeah, perfect. So if you are a law student, let me know in which year you are in right now. Currently, you are in which year? Do let me know in the chat box about the same. So in the meantime, I'm just taking you through the instructions of this webinar. So all LeDroit webinars are completely interactive. We allow our students to engage with us, but considering the number of students today, we are not giving you that right to interact. We'll be giving you that chance for question and answers towards the end of the webinar. Okay, so whatever doubts you have, you can drop them in the chat box, or you can wait till end so that once you are allowed to unmute, you can ask your questions. Okay, now about LeDroit. LeDroit is an online edtech platform registered under Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and we provide self-paced as well as live certificate courses which are completely practical in nature. We also provide several contract drafting services, company registration services, and you can also intern with us. So we have monthly internships as well. You can stay updated on LinkedIn about our upcoming workshops and all. I'll also do one thing. I'll share the link of our WhatsApp group where we keep on updating about our workshops, upcoming webinars, and so that you can stay connected with us. And after this workshop, we have one more workshop that is on intellectual property rights that will be conducted this month only. I'm sharing a link of our general group. If you haven't joined our group, make sure that you are joining this one. You'll be updated about our upcoming events, webinars, and so. Okay, and I hope you all have already been added to the webinar group, because for this particular workshop, you'll be provided with the certificates as well. So once the workshop is conducted, we'll be sharing a link feedback form will be shared in the on the call itself. Only the participants who are joining the particular session will be provided with certificate. Okay, so make sure that you are there till end. You are not dropping off the call early. You make sure that you fill up that form and then drop off the call, because then only you'll be receiving your participation certificate. The certificate will be sent after a week, so by next Friday, you'll get your certificate and we'll be notifying you about it in the group itself. Are the instructions clear? That the certificates will be sent after a week. We'll be sharing a feedback form towards the end of the session today. Make sure that you fill that up and then only drop off the call. Perfect. Great. Now, in case you're not there in the workshop group, because once we share the certificate, we'll update you in that group itself that we have shared your certificate. I'll share the link of the group as well. One second. Okay. Let me just share the link with you. Great, I've shared it. So, I can see that mostly all of you are currently in law college only, and some of you are working professionals, practicing advocate. Can I have practicing advocates raise your hand, please, just to see the numbers? How many of you are currently working? Anyone who is currently working? Shivani is there. Anyone else? Okay, just raise your hand, whoever is working. like already graduated and is currently practicing or already working with an organization or anything? Okay, so I can see that there are around 2 to 3 people who are working right now. Great, good to have you here. So there can be two purpose that you have joined this particular session. One, that you want to switch your career from litigation to corporate, right? Second, it can be that you are currently in law college and you needed guidance on how to draft a contract or how to create a career in corporate sector, right? So how many of you are over here because you needed guidance on how to create your career in corporate? Now, people who wanted this guidance as well, just raise your hand. Okay. All right. Great. So, what I'll be trying to do is I'll just brief you out about a few things. Okay, you are in-house in education sector. One second. All right. So, being a corporate lawyer, I'll be guiding you like how you can, enhance your skills, to get a job in corporate. So, if you have any questions with regard to career as well, you can ask in the chat box. All right. The major purpose of the heading of the workshop in itself is contract drafting, right? Okay. So, let me just know once the screen is visible to you. Give me a minute. Also, you'll be provided with the recording of today's session. Okay. So, whatever doubts you have, anything, you can again revisit this particular session and get them, clarified. We'll be providing you with a checklist as well. Let me just know once the screen is visible. Is it visible? Okay, great. Thank you so much for confirming. So I'll be asking you questions throughout. Make sure you are interacting. Make sure you are giving me thumbs up so I can proceed ahead. I know that you are understanding everything. Okay. Please don't use whiteboard during the session. Whoever has started whiteboard, please don't use it. All right. Okay. One second. Done. Okay, all right. Now the topic is contract drafting common mistakes. Let's start with very basic. We all know that is what is a contract. I know that you're already aware of what is a contract, but still we have people who are very new to the topic, who are from first year right now. Now what is a contract? A contract is simply a legally binding agreement between parties who enter into an agreement with for the purpose of doing certain transaction in exchange of consideration. To put it in very simple terms, an agreement, a document which both the parties have drafted with the purpose of entering into a certain transaction where they are exchanging a certain consideration. Now, is there anyone who would like me to explain things in Hindi as well? Do you want me to explain things in Hindi too? Is it fine with all? Like I'll be covering in. Okay, all right. Okay, now let's understand about napkin contracts. So there's a general thing that we have in mind is that in order to enter into any contract, you should be having it, properly drafted and all the things. But there's also a scenario that you can simply enter into a contract by drafting it on a napkin as well. And the most famous example of a napkin contract is the contract entered between your Messi with a this particular thing agency company who hired Messi for the football thing. So at that time when Messi was 13 years old, his father and Barcelona sporting director, they were in a meeting at a cafe. Over there, he on spot wanted to book Messi for their club. So at that time, what he did, he simply wrote the terms and condition on a napkin and got it signed by Messi's father. This was considered as a valid contract. Reason is it had all the essentials of contract, so it doesn't matter where your contract is being drafted. What matters is that your contract should be having all the essentials of contract. So basic essentials that we all are aware of is that in order to enter into contract, there should be two parties. Parties should be of major age, right? They should be competent to enter into the contract. The contract should be having a lawful object and there should be a lawful consideration, right? So all these things, basic things, should be there in order to make any contract valid. Later, this contract was formally drafted on a paper and got re-signed again by the parties. But this was considered as an original contract between the parties, and later it was auctioned at euro 76000. Now basically, in this particular workshop, we'll be understanding what are the things that you have to keep in mind. Like when you are in law college, you're of the view that essentials of the contracts are the only thing that you have to follow, right? Some of the essentials I discussed right now. Can you tell me which law in India governs contract? In the chat box, which law in India governs contract? Correct. The person who answered Indian Contract Act 1872, that is the right way of answering to this question. Don't just answer Indian Contract Act, always mention the year along with it. Reason is when you go for an interview, they'll be asking you about the year as well, especially when you're applying as a fresher, because they'll be looking out your knowledge about your law school, like how much you have studied and everything. Okay, so make sure that you are thoroughly going through your contract law. You are clear with the essentials of contract, you are clear with the basic definitions of the contract, how a contract is different from agreement. You can consider these questions. If you are applying for a position as a practitioner or a already working professional, your questions can be slightly different. It will be revolving around the work you have done so far and what's your knowledge about the contract and so. Okay, so this is how things are. But when you are applying for internship or a position in a corporate as a fresher, make sure that you are thoroughly going through your Indian Contract Act. The questions will be coming from your contract law only. Okay. Now, when you learn about contracts, you basically think like in when you'll find the work actually, when you start working, you just have to see whether the contract is having all the essentials of contract or not. But that is not at all useful, because in corporate sector, it is automatically assumed that the parties who are entering into the contract are competent and they are allowed to enter into the contract. So you don't have to look into these things. You have to majorly look what the law says, how your contract is being drafted, what is the language of the contract. So these are the things that you have to consider when you actually draft a contract. Your law college and the practical world is completely different. It's not something that you'll be able to relate to enter into corporate. You should be having additional skill sets, you should be having knowledge about it. So the best way to enter into corporate is right now that along with your degree, do some certifications, do some internships as well, and as much as possible do participate in some other activities, like do participate in moot courts, do participate in other activities. Why? Because companies just not only see your mark sheet, they also see how much you are interactive. Do you have the ability to communicate with other people as well? Especially this skill is noticed when you're applying as a fresher. They don't they just want to see, do you have the basic knowledge about contracts? Will you be able to communicate with us? Will you be able to work? That's all. Rest of the things they are going to train you out. Okay, so work on your communication skills, work on your skill sets, try to add more certifications, because there is a lot of competition. You cannot rely on your college degree just to get a job or even an internship. You should be having additional skills along with your college degree. Any person who is applying for a position will be compared with 10,000 other candidates. So in order to stand out, you should be having more skills with you, right? Now let's start with what are the things that you have to consider when you start with a contract. Before that, I'll be showing you a template of a contract to explain you the structure of a contract, how it looks like, and how we have to draft it. Are we clear so far? Any doubts, any questions? Okay. All right. Now, skills. If you're asking me about the skills that you need in order to get a job in corporate, you should be aware of how to draft a contract. Contract drafting will come along. Nowadays, contract drafting is just not limited to like you know what is the structure of contract, you know how to draft it. There are people who have been just using the template of the contract and they say that they know drafting. Drafting is not something that you are simply changing a particular template and saying that you know. Neither you can rely on chat gpt or any other ai tools, because you are a lawyer, you are going to analyze a contract based on law, right? So you cannot rely on ai as well. You should be having core skills with you, you should be having the ability in you to understand what a contract is saying, how you can redraft it. And even there will be interviews where they are going to ask you to share your screen or to draft a contract from scratch in front of them. So the advertisements you see that they are providing you with the templates, 1,000 templates and so, don't purchase it. It's not going to make any sense. You are a lawyer, you should be having the ability to draft a contract from scratch. You should be aware of that language as well. Okay, now let's understand how to draft a contract. Apart from contract drafting, there are other things as well, like there are several contract management tools that companies are using. So we have advanced, we are no longer just limited to your microsoft word or google drive or so, or onedrive. Now we are managing these contracts on a tool. So there are contract management tools where the companies are operating. So lawyers are also being demanded to be aware of these tools. You are aware of chat gpt and all, right? In your day to day work, now you're using those tools. So even in corporate, they are using a separate contract management tool, and they want lawyers to be aware of that, how to use that tool and so. Now, LeDroit does have several courses on contract management tool and contract drafting as well. Then there's a skill on intellectual property rights. You should be aware of IPR as well. So, what type of roles you'll be applying for? It will be legal associate, legal analyst, contract analyst, in-house counsel. When you want to go for the position of in-house counsel, you should be aware of several sectors, because your role over there will be to guide your company. So in order to guide your company, you should be having knowledge about intellectual property rights, mergers and acquisitions, company registration, contract drafting, and all these sectors. Plus you should also be having knowledge about drafting legal notices as well. Basic litigation knowledge should also be there when you're applying for the position of in-house counsel. Okay, but if you are just having knowledge about contract drafting and contract management, in that scenario as well, you'll be having a lot of opportunities with you. Do you know, by having this skill of contract drafting and contract management, you'll be able to apply for international opportunities as well. And today, people are working for UK and US clients while being in India. Just by having this skill, even before graduating from your law college, you'll be able to have several clients with you who are paying you in euros or dollars by way of freelancing. Or you can also start taking independent clients from India as well, because to draft a contract you don't need a bar license. You'll be able to draft a contract with just having proper practical knowledge on how to draft a good contract. All right. So, yes, IPR is still a booming field in India, provided that how you're utilizing your skill. Many people claim that they know how to file for IPR. They even do LLM, okay, in intellectual property rights. But still, they are not aware of how to actually file for intellectual property rights. What are the things to look into? So, it is a booming field if you're aware of how to file for intellectual property rights. Just having theoretical knowledge is not going to be helpful at all. So whatever you do, learn practical skills in order to stay updated. Even in IPR, we have a course. In the group itself, we'll share the details of the courses with you. Okay. Yeah, we'll share the details of the courses with you, or you can reach out to the LeDroit team members or directly visit the website for any query and so. I'm just dropping out the number of the team. Okay, we'll be dropping you the details, but you can directly reach out to the admins. They'll share more details with you in case you have any query. Now, all right, let's proceed ahead with the session. I'll be just showing you quickly the template of the contract. Let me know once the screen is visible to you. Is it visible? Okay. All right, great. Um, I'm not sure how to remove this line from here, so please ignore that. Okay, please ignore that line and just focus on the content. All right, now this is a basic structure of a contract. Open with me. I'll be explaining you how to draft a contract from a scratch, what a structure looks like, and then we are going to have an understanding like what are the points to consider when you start with your drafting. So in this let me just, okay, you are saying that I can stop sharing and reshare. Uh-huh. Now, like, is it better? Okay, great. Thank you so much. All right, now this is a basic structure of non-disclosure agreement with me. So, what is non-disclosure agreement? I'll explain this to you in very brief. This is the most used document in corporates. Okay, non-disclosure agreement is an agreement where the parties are entering for the purpose of maintaining confidentiality. So, over here, the purpose of the parties is that if I'm sharing an information with you, your responsibility is to keep that information as confidential. Reason is businesses run on secrets. If that information gets leaked out, there are chances that the party might stop earning profits or might uh, get its business impacted. Okay, so that's the major purpose, that the parties before entering into any type of deal, they enter into a non-disclosure agreement or confidentiality agreement with the promise that whatever information you are sharing with me, I'm not going to disclose it with anyone else. Are we clear with the understanding of non disclosure agreement? Can I have your thumbs up if we are clear with it? Okay, great. Now let's see the structure. So, whenever you start with your drafting any type of contract, first thing is you'll be starting with a title. So, the first thing is this, the title. The way we give heading to our essays when you were in your school, we used to write essay by giving it a heading, right? Same way, whenever we start drafting a contract, we are giving a heading that is known as your title to the contract. The purpose of giving this title is to identify what is the purpose of this agreement. So if you see a non disclosure agreement, you are getting to know that the purpose of this agreement is to maintain confidentiality between the parties, and accordingly you'll be drafting the overall contract, right? Same is with your essays. When you give a heading to your essay, let's say that about my best friend, you are not going to talk about your father, you're going to talk about your best friend, right? So this way you have to frame your contract as well. Once the title is there, we are going to draft your preamble. So this selected part which is there, it is your preamble. um, All right. This selected part is your preamble. In your preamble, you're going to find details like name of the parties, the date the parties entered into the contract, address of the parties, and how we are going to refer them in this particular contract. Okay. So your this selected part is known as your preamble. Are we clear till here? All right. Now, the next part, this part particularly, is known as your recitals. Wherever you see the word whereas, okay, this part is known as your recitals. In the recitals, you're going to find the brief or the gist of the contract, that why the parties have entered into this particular contract. What's the major purpose of entering into this agreement? Recitals are always going to start with the word whereas, and the reason they are called as recitals is that you have to recite it. You can prepare your own recitals by referring to two or three agreements. You have to first think the best practices as a fresher. Like right now you guys are in learning stage, right? Maybe you are like coming across these information for the first time. So after this particular workshop, the best practice is open an agreement, go through it and recite it. Ratta maar lo, recite it properly, so that whenever next time you start with a contract or drafting anything, there will be advantages of it. First, that you're already aware of the language. Second, it will be added to your vocabulary. You'll be talking like a lawyer. Okay, so if you, when you recite an agreement, focus on the language that is being used in the agreement. That will help you in adding these terms, these vocabulary, when you start drafting your contract. So once we are clear with the recitals, then we are going to have your definition clause. So far, first is your title, then we have your preamble. After preamble, we have the recitals, where you're going to find the gist of the contract, that why parties are entering into this contract. Once the recitals are over, we are going to have your definition clause. I'll be explaining all these things in detail by showing you PPT again, okay? Once the definition clause is over, we'll be having several set of clauses where you're going to create the body of the contract, explaining roles and responsibilities of the parties, how much amount they are exchanging, why they have entered into the contract, what is expected out of them, and everything. All these things will be covered. That will create the body of the contract. Once all these things are covered, finally, we'll be having your execution clause. Okay, this is your execution clause. In execution clause, you're going to find details of the parties who are signing the contract. Now, let me know. You want to send a contract out for signature, right? In order to make any contract as valid, you have to get it executed, correct? Please don't use whiteboard. Yeah, you have to get it executed. So in order to get it executed, you have to send it out for signature to a party. How you'll be, let's say that you want to get that contract signed by a company. We all know that company is a separate legal entity, right? So how you'll be getting it signed? You will be sending it out to someone. Now, will it be fair if you are going to share this contract with the security guard of the company to get it signed? Can a security guard of the company sign this agreement? No, right? Because this contract needs to be signed by an authorized representative. So, will it be fine if the CEO of the company is signing this contract? Chief Executive Officer? Yes. Reason is he has the authority to bind the company in such deals. So these contracts can be signed by the manager, by a senior position employee, CFO, CEO, or CEO, because they have the authority to sign the agreement and bind the company. That's the reason they are known as authorized representatives of the company. So whenever I'm going to send a contract for signature to a company, I'll be sending it to an authorized representative. That's the reason I'll be mentioning details like name of the party, designation of the party, that is the title, the position that person is, the place, and the date. Okay, so these details will be there when I'm sending the contract out for signature. Are we clear with, so far, with all the details and overall structure of the contract? Okay, great. Now, I'll be sharing another screen. Back to our PPT. Is it visible? You guys are able to understand my pace, right? It's not too fast. You'll be provided with the this particular thing checklist. So you'll be provided with a checklist in this particular manner. One second. Yeah. So this checklist will be shared with you. This particular checklist, you can refer to this. Those sample NDA, I don't think so that will be shared, but the checklist, whatever topics we are going to discuss now, that is going to be shared. So this will be shared in form of a LinkedIn link. There's a post that will be sharing with you over there. From there, you can directly download this checklist. Okay, so that is there. And do you can also be connected with us on YouTube as well, because we do go live on YouTube, and we also have a series on understanding contracts used in various industries on YouTube, where we have covered contracts used in IT sector, real estate sector, media and law, entertainment industry, and further industries are covered. That will help you in having an understanding of what type of contracts are used in each industry and what you can expect from each industry. That will be highly helpful. We are also going live this Saturday, that is tomorrow at 11 a.m., to discuss about how to create a career in alternative dispute resolution. So you can get connected with us on YouTube for having more such sessions. All right. Now coming back to our PPT. Okay, now let's understand. So the checklist that will be shared with you, it covers all the point that I'm now going to share with you in this PPT. I have just created this PPT for better presentation, so you are able to read more. Okay. All right. Can I proceed ahead? Are we clear with everything now? Okay, great. Thank you. So the first thing is ambiguous language. Yeah, that was a drafted contract that we shared first. Yeah, let me just drop you the sequence of things. 1 second. I'll just quickly drop it for you all. Now I forgot to mention one thing when I was showing you the this thing. Yeah, I just shared the structure of the thing with you, like how to draft a contract. What is the series of thing that you have to keep in mind? Right now in the series, I mentioned boilerplate clauses. To just give you an idea, what is boilerplate clauses? Basically, these are the clauses that are included in a contract to protect the parties. One thing we are adding is that we are explaining about the roles and responsibilities of the parties, right? Then we are adding several set of clauses with the purpose of protecting the parties. So in case parties wants to file a case against each other, there's a dispute between parties or anything, boilerplate clauses are the clauses that are going to help them. Okay, so this is the overall structure of a particular contract, and in our courses we are going to cover all these things in detail. We'll be taking you through how to draft a boilerplate clause, how to start with a contract from scratch, and there will be several activities where you will be doing contract negotiation. Like there will be proper live activity, you'll be getting feedback on it. You'll be drafting several contracts and you'll be getting feedback on how you're drafting a contract, like what are the things to look into, how you can improvise your draft, and much more. Yes, you'll be getting recording of this session as well. Okay, now the first thing to consider when you start drafting a contract is ambiguous language. What it is, it basically means that when you start drafting a contract, keep your language very simple. Keep it very simple. Don't think of that if you're using extraordinary words, you're creating an impression. It will not create an impression, it will just create confusion. So go with very simple terms. Don't use extra advanced English. Just create simple terms to avoid any confusion so that the person reading it is getting clarity, because your contract is not always read by lawyers. It is drafted by a lawyer, but not all everyone is a lawyer. Not everyone will be able to interpret your contract. It will be majorly read by people who are working in the field, right? So keep your language very simple and clear so that it's easy to understand. Okay, now next move on to what next. Next is failure to define key terms. Can you recall I mentioned about definition clause while showing you overall structure of a contract? Can you recall that? We talked about definition clause. Yeah. So what's the purpose of definition clauses? That you are defining the terms you are going to use in the contract. So when I start drafting a contract, I'm going to use several terms which you might not be aware of. Let's take an example. I'm saying person. Okay, those very simple term person. One can have an understanding that the word person means that a living being, a human person, right? But there can also be another interpretation that the word person also includes company. So when I'm saying person, it can mean an individual, it can also mean an entity, an organization. So I have to provide clarity on these terms, like how to analyze or interpret these things in order to avoid any confusion between the parties. Because if I'm saying, let's say, payment, I'm an Indian citizen, you are a US citizen. If I'm saying that the payment needs to be made, what's the overall amount? Let's say 14,000. My understanding will be 14,000 INR. Your understanding can be just 14,000 US dollars, right? So that's the reason we have to also clearly explain what will be the currency, what will be the meaning of each word. That's the purpose of your definition clause, where you clearly define how the words are being used and what is the meaning of each and every word. Are we clear? Okay. Now, next is your um, overly complex or lengthy sentences. Now, overly complex, we understood that we don't have to use complicated words like flabbergasted or any other word. You don't have to use extraordinary terms. Just use simple English, that is enough. Just make sure that whatever you are saying is making some sense. The person reading is able to understand. Now, making sense also means that you are not covering everything or relating it with your law. Don't do that. When you are drafting a contract, your language is simple. You're not relating everything that this section says this section says this. In the Indian Contract Act does that and all. You are not supposed to draft a contract in that manner. You are simply drafting a contract thinking that you are communicating. Okay, so draft a contract in a manner that the person reading is more of reading your message, how to analyze a contract. Draft it in that manner. So we have to make sure that our sentences are properly framed. They are not overly lengthy sentences. Because let's say that if I'm saying something now and then I'm again re-explaining things to you in some other language, or just beating around the bush, will it make any sense to you? After a time, you will start getting confused, like what I'm actually trying to say. So don't overcomplicate things. Keep it very simple. Next is omission of essential clauses. This basically means missing out on essential clauses. So, y- in a contract, as I said, you're just not talking about the roles and responsibilities of the party. You're also talking about how to protect the parties. It's because in a contract, you also have to provide the scenarios how the parties are going to handle the situation in case the contract goes another way round. So when I am entering into a contract with you, the parties are very positive that everything will work out. You're going to give me payment on time. I'm going to deliver the goods to you on time. But what if the person who needs to make payment, he backs off? Or let's say anything happens to that person. How I'm going to receive the payment? How the things will be going ahead thereafter? All these things needs to be considered. So in order to protect, I have to include several clauses like dispute resolution clause that will be explaining about how the parties are going to resolve the dispute in case there's any dispute with regard to the payment or any other dispute. Let's say I stopped providing you with the goods, then how you're going to reach out, what action you can take in that scenario. All these things will be explained in your dispute resolution clause and several other clauses. So make sure that in your contract you are properly covering these points. We are covering all the essential clauses. Now these essential clauses are also known as your boilerplate clauses. If you remember, the meaning of boilerplate clauses are the clauses that are inserted in a contract with the purpose of protecting the parties and guiding the parties in case of such scenarios. Are we clear so far? Okay. Are you guys like understanding everything? I hope it's not boring for you all. I'm not boring you. Okay, great. Thank you. Now let's understand about next point, that is failure to specify governing law and jurisdiction. Very important clause and should be there in your contract, that is how to tackle a dispute that may arise. So in our situation where, like, let's say you stop giving me payment, you stop making payments on time, what will be the ultimate resolution that I'll be having? That I need the payment because I already provided you with the goods, so I'll be filing a case, right, in order to get the amount. How I'll be filing the case, whether I'm supposed to give you prior notice before filing the case, or whether I can directly go and file the case. If I'm filing the case, what will be the approach? Let's say that what should be the approach? Because You can either go for the jurisdiction, you can either go for arbitration. So what will be the approach? If the contract is saying that the approach should be arbitration, in that scenario I cannot go ahead and file the case in any court. If I've agreed for arbitration, I have to request for an arbitrational setting to get the dispute resolved. I have given up my right on getting the case resolved by way of court. So all these things will be explained in your governing law and jurisdiction, that which country law will be applicable, which court will be having the jurisdiction, whether the arbitration tribunal will be having the jurisdiction, or whether any court will be having the jurisdiction. All these things will be explained in this particular clause. Okay. Now, like when we are in our course, we also provide you with the specifications for each clause, like what are the points to consider when you're drafting, redlining, reviewing, whatever you're doing with a contract, or even negotiating. What are the things to consider when you're structuring each and every clause? Okay. Next is lack of logical structuring and formatting. Very important thing which people miss out. Your contract is your identity, the way you are drafting it, the way you're showcasing it. Like, it comes even in your personality. How you show yourself talks about you, speaks about you, right? Same as with your agreement. Before your draft is going to reach out to the other person. That way they'll be able to analyze how much knowledge you have, what type of lawyer you are. Always make sure that your contract is well structured, the formatting is good, you're keeping things in mind while drafting a contract. Okay. So the contract should be in bullet points, it should be properly structured in A4 page, and all the things you have to make a proper list of, cross check everything, that how you have drafted it. Don't provide a disorganized contract. Okay. Next is exclusion of boilerplate. As I said, boilerplate clauses are very essential. The reason is they guide you on situations of a chaos, like how to tackle a particular situation. In case there's a dispute between the parties, how the parties will be able to resolve that dispute. In case the parties have some other opinion with regard to any topic, how they'll be able to tackle that situation. All the things will be included in your boilerplate clauses. So these, the word boilerplate doesn't mean that you're boiling a plate. Okay, don't go behind that meaning. This is a, let's say, a compiled word where you are having compilation of clauses. So this is a common word that we are using to, which has under it several 10 to 14 clauses that should be there in a contract. Okay, the purpose of all these clauses are going to protect the parties. Are we clear? So make sure that whenever you're drafting a contract, you are including boilerplate clauses as well. All right, can we move ahead? Are we clear with it? All right. Now, next is your, yeah, lack of thorough review and proofreading. Always make sure that you are proofreading your contract. You are again proofreading basically means that you are again checking out the contract, you are rereading it multiple times. Best practices: read your contract 3 to 4 times before sending it. Track out your own mistakes, because you are drafting a contract, there are high chances you might have missed out on certain things. That's the reason we also provide you with a checklist which provides you guidelines on what are the things to consider when you're drafting with this particular contract. Let's say partnership agreement. So what are the things to consider when you draft a partnership agreement, so that you don't miss out on any point? Same with the clauses. What are the things to consider when you're drafting a particular clause? What are the points you should be keeping in mind when you start drafting a particular clause, right? So all these things needs to be properly drafted. There are two things, like, let's wrap it up what we have understood so far. First is that you don't have to use unnecessary extra advanced English. Keep your contract very much clear. Secondly, you have to keep your contract well formatted. Your formatting should be very good. Lastly, once you have drafted your contract, proofread it properly, thoroughly check it, and remove the errors. Lastly, failure to address practical business considerations. Draft a contract that is legally sound while aligning with commercial realities. So when you're drafting a contract, as I said, that don't just focus on the law part. Law part is there, you're connecting your contract with law as well, but that is not your Indian contract act we are talking about. Majorly, in practical world, the contracts you are drafting will not be related to Indian contract act. That will only be coming into picture when you have to prove your contract in court. So basically, you connect the contract with law when that has been disputed at that time. Okay, so your overall structure of the contract will be majorly in general English, how you're framing up your points. So you'll be talking about business scenarios, like if the contract is about delivery of goods, I'll be talking about by when the goods will be delivered, how much time I'm going to take to deliver the goods, what type of goods I'll be delivering. All these things will be covered over there, right? So always consider practical business points as well when you start drafting a contract. So the best practices, let's say a client has approached you for a freelancing project, that he needs a non-disclosure agreement to be drafted. You should be having several set of questions that you're going to ask to your client. Okay, you need a non-disclosure agreement. Provide me with the details of the parties, let me know this and that details. You'll be providing them with a questionnaire, right? So that you can have clarity on how to draft a contract. So all these things needs to be considered. Lastly, inadequate execution and signing formalities. Basically, we covered this point when we were seeing the structure of a contract. Always make sure that your contract is signed by an authorized representative, the person who has the authority to bind the company, right? And there are several more important details, like you should be knowing when the contract was signed. The date should also be there. Name, title, date, and place can or cannot be there. If it's an online contract, it's fine, but mainly name and the designation of the party and the date the contract got signed. All these things should be like properly cross checked before you send your contract. Are we clear with the points? Do you guys have any doubt, anything, any questions? Okay, so that's all for today. We have covered all the topics. Someone said seventh slide. One quick. Let me just see what's the seventh slide. This one, omission of residential clauses. All right. Now, some of you have also, attended this session as a demo session. I'll be just quickly taking you through the details of the course as well, and thereafter I'll be sharing the feedback form with you. Okay. Now, if you have any doubt, anything, let me know. You can drop your questions in the chat box. We'll be sharing the recording of this session. I think so. You'll be provided with a different link, but that is also going to cover all the points. Like, it's just that we are doing this session today, but that is an old link, so over there as well all the points will be there, and we'll be sharing the checklist with you. All right, so don't leave the call, stay till the time I have shared the feedback form with you. Just give me a moment. So at LeDroit, I conduct courses on contract drafting and negotiation, software contract drafting, and also on AI and law. I think so. We have that course tomorrow on artificial intelligence and law. You can take a look into that as well. Now, I'm just sharing my screen with you quickly. Is it visible? Yeah. Okay. So this is a 2 months course, okay, where you are going to learn everything in detail. Where you are going to learn about things like how to draft a contract from scratch. We are going to cover standard contracts. We are going to cover electronic contracts, how to send contracts for signature using tool. We're also going to understand how the what type of tools are used in company, what is the purpose of tool, how to redline a contract, how to do contract negotiation, how to review a contract. Then the major type of contracts that we are going to understand is what is the structure of contracts in an industry, in a company, how companies function. Then we are going to understand about non-disclosure agreement drafting, master service agreement, addendums, amendments, partnership agreement, franchise agreement, joint venture agreements, and so on. You're just not only learning in this course, you're also learning about like how to register a contract, when it is required to register a contract, and you are also practicing these skills. So there will be ongoing class activities where you will be drafting a clause, where you'll be directly negotiating a particular, like you'll be given with a case analysis, a scenario, real life scenario. Okay, we are not talking about hypothetical situations, we are talking about real life scenarios that happen in like practical world. So you'll be given these type of scenarios where you have to negotiate a particular contract deal, you have to do a deal, and the instructor will be guiding you on the points like how you can do a better negotiation. Then we'll be providing you activities where you have to review a contract as well. Like let's say that you start working in a company and you have received a contract, so how you are supposed to read that contract, do the analysis, and reply back to that contract. All these things will be explained. Then you are going to draft a contract from scratch, a commercial contract, let's say a service agreement. So you'll be how to calculate the things, how to draft a proper schedule. All these things will be properly explained to you, and you'll be the one drafting it. The last session of the course is going to be a feedback session where your contract will personally be reviewed and you'll be provided with a feedback on the same. Plus, on top of it, there will be a contract management tool that will be providing you, letting you know which tool you can download and use, so that when you apply for these positions, you'll be able to apply in IT companies, you'll be able to apply in several other this thing, electricity companies, solar power energy company, and as well as all the companies. So having the skill of contract drafting and being able to work on the tool will open a lot of opportunities for you. Companies like Infosys, Wipro, ISG, and all the companies, Capgemini, Deloitte, all the companies do need lawyers who have knowledge about contracts, who are able to work on the tool as well. Okay, so this particular course will open a lot of opportunities for you. You'll also be getting, along with the like this thing, along with the reading materials, you'll be getting sample drafts, recordings for future reference. Plus you'll be getting proper corporate insights, like what type of questions will be asked, what are the things to consider when you appear for the interview, what type of jobs you can apply for, and will also be helping you out with the CV. Okay, then we'll also be providing you with an experience letter that will help you, because you are actually drafting these contracts in the course. So you'll be able to showcase this experience letter, that you hold the experience of drafting a contract, and what type of contracts you have drafted, that will be properly mentioned in the experience letter. So basically when you apply for positions, they simply give you a salary as a fresher, but having an experience letter will increase your chances of getting a job, because you already have experience, you have worked on the contract, and you'll be in a better position to negotiate a salary as well. So all these things will be provided to you to help you properly. And yeah, so the course price is 4,999, but it is currently under offer price of 2,999 till tomorrow. So we'll be sharing the details of the course with you. You can visit the website and register. It's a 2 months course. The timings are going to be 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. and the classes will be conducted on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Okay, so it is starting from 22nd November. Apart from this, like if you need any other detail, please reach out to the team members, they'll be helping you out. All right, now coming back over here, like, yeah, just give me a minute. I'll be just stop sharing my screen and will share the feedback form with you. I'm allowing you, in the meantime, I'm allowing you to unmute yourself. Okay, don't drop off the call. I'm allowing you to unmute. So if you have any questions, you can ask. And just give me 2 minutes. I'll share the feedback form with you all. A minute, please. Okay. Now you guys can, unmute and ask your queries. So whatever doubts you have, please feel free to ask. Um, in the meantime, I'm sharing the form. Let me see where it is. I hope you enjoyed the session. It was helpful for you all. You learned something new today. Do let me know, right? If you have any other suggestions, then also let me know. And the contract drafting course will be conducted by me only. and I make sure that my students have understood everything, and they are, actually able to answer the interview questions and all. Many students who have done our course have got placed, they have got pre-placement offers, and we have helped them with their interview preparations as well, and what type of positions they can apply for. In our general WhatsApp group, we also share like job opportunities as well, job and internship opportunities. um okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for this wonderful session. It's very helpful and it's very learning session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the session. Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am. Thank you.
much. Okay. I've shared the link with you. Can you just confirm that you guys are able to, edit the link and thing? And
Pardon me,
also,
ma'am. I have one query.
yes, sure.
Can you please tell me how can we practice contract drafting as a law student?
Okay, so the best way is like start reading more. That's the best way you can start drafting, like learning right now. Whatever contracts you can come across, read and read. And where you can find these contracts, just simply visit any website over there, visit their terms and conditions. Okay, for now just visit their terms and conditions and see how they are, like they have drafted the things. Or just simply google out any template or anything, give it a read, whatever topic you are interested in. That way you'll be able to know. Now when I'm saying template, you may come across several templates that are just, having basic things. Rest is all fill in the blanks, don't do that. That's the main reason I'm saying open any website, let's say Amazon. Let me just see where I can guide you on Amazon. Hmm, okay, I'll be sharing my screen. Okay, just confirm once it's visible. So this is Amazon website that I've opened with me. Just simply visit any other website, you can see the section of this particular thing, return center. Then we have your purchase protection help. No, not this. Let me cut this out. Books, art. No, no, it's not that. Let me visit any other. HP. Okay, yeah, now we have. Can you see my screen now? So what I did, I simply did a search of HP terms and conditions. Just do a normal Google search, write HP terms and conditions, and visit this particular site. It will show you all the contract. If you want, I'm just sharing the link of this. Just visit this and give it a read. It will provide you all the knowledge how a contract looks like. What are like the points that we discussed. It will also be guiding you towards that. Okay, it will be helpful.
Like,
Boom.
where can we find the contract? I'm so sorry interrupting you, but here's written terms and conditions, and like,
These
where
are
is
contracts. No, no, these are contracts only. Even the terms and conditions on websites are drafted by lawyers. So in our software contracts course, we explain you how to draft these terms and conditions, and we also guide you like how to draft an IT contract. Okay. So the terms and conditions of every website, the privacy policy, terms and conditions, user related details, all the details are drafted by lawyers only. So if you just go and visit this, I'm so sorry I cannot let you know which book to read because it's been quite a while that I've read a book. I've only been, directly learning and understanding by visiting practical things. So sorry I cannot refer to you any book as of for now. But for sure, this is the best practice that you can do by visiting the websites and just reading out the terms and conditions over there.
Ma'am,
one last question, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Like you already told us about that, like what have you shown us in the like the contract agreement draft that you have shown us, like we could, like we can really search